tried to be the kind of woman you wanted me to be. And it's not your fault that I tried to be what I thought you wanted.
I'm Pamela Harris, and I produced the Women's Kit. At that time, I was working at the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education in the Department of Computer Applications, which was very strange because I didn't know a thing about computers, but I was working with a couple of guys, David Stansfield and Anthony Barton, who had started a new sort of multimedia kit. And they had made a free-form kit called the 30s kit. Well, it was 10 years in a box, but it was the 30s kit. And after we did a number of kits together, ecology, perception, etc., I then proposed to do a kit on women. At that point in time, in the 60s, 70s, there was a lot of ferment in education. There was a movement towards free schools, towards questioning the rigidity of the school system. So the idea of these kits, and as you can see from this massive stuff behind me, which is a very small amount of what was really in the kit, they weren't little boring things. And they tended, particularly the way David and Anthony instituted them, to be very wild and woolly. So you didn't have a teacher's guide that said, do this, and now they will learn that. The whole idea was you immersed students in not data, but a kind of visual, oral experience that they would dig into and have questions and develop ideas. Now, the women's kit was much less free-form than the earlier ones because, well, we'll be very frank, I did have an agenda. This was in a way a consciousness-raising package for young men and young women in high schools and colleges. So we were trying to raise questions and show things that they might not have really connected with. There's an awful lot in the kit that's about translation, like, here's an ad. Well, what's it really saying to you? Here's some school materials. What are they saying about girls or boys? Here's the law. Here are the laws on marriage. Well, in those days. What did they say about a woman's place or power or whatever, and a man's? But just to go back to the kits, therefore, with the women's kit, once it had been distributed the first time round and was then published and sold, it did have a teacher's guide. But the teacher's guide didn't say, do X, Y, and Z. They suggested connections and things. So I think these multimedia kits, these kits in the hands of a really good teacher could be incredible. But particularly the earlier ones, like the perception bag and the ecology box. The ecology box was huge. We did it with UNESCO. That if a teacher wasn't up to it, my guess is that it might have turned into a lot of wonderful posters on people's walls.
Smiling face.